the brother of the bride, Katharine. And I wanted to say a few words here, and if my caveat would be that no one gave me a time limit. So, well, my little sister's getting married, and before her big brother. But that's all right. I've kind of gotten used to that. She's done other things before me. For example, getting her first car, driver's license. That one stung. Graduating high school, and then college, first job, paying your own rent. So, kind of gotten used to being excited. Katharine and I, we've been best friends since the day she was born, and that's real. There were times I can recall, when we were children, kind of between sessions where we were scratching each other's eyes out, that my mother would tell us that Stephen, Katharine's the greatest gift I ever gave you. And the truth is, the older I get, the more meaningful that really is. And Katharine's the one person in my life who's always been there through thick and thin, and I tell you what, there's been a lot of thin. And Katharine's always been the one who, no matter what I did, she just couldn't help but forgive me. We've always had an amazing connection and been so close. But I will say that when Brandon came along, it was a bit of relief, because a lot of members of our family, their greatest fear was that, one day Katharine would grow up and marry somebody like me. So, I remember the first time that Katharine told me about Brandon, and it was, this story my mom just told you all. Basically, she said that she'd really taken to someone, but he was otherwise engaged at the time. But Katharine is nothing if not persistent. When he broke up with his girlfriend, I guess there was a window of opportunity that consisted of a really expensive, summer abroad in Spain. And when my sister proposed this to my mother, she was summarily dismissed. But she's a negotiator, And what she came up with was that, the folks would pay for it on the condition that she adhered to an austere budget, and she continued her study of Spanish afterwards and took a minor in Spanish at Rhodes College. And so it was negotiated, and she went off to Spain, and the rest is history, as they say. So I will insert a footnote here. 3 weeks into that fall, three weeks into upper level Spanish classes, Katharine did withdraw from her Spanish major and never took it up again. So, that is to say that the first time I ever heard about Brandon, he appeared to me, well, much like he does to me today amongst all this, as an unwitting but well-behaved pawn on Katharine's mad chessboard. So, I remember the first time I met Brandon. My parents had really pushed me into coming down to a field hockey game. Y'all saw the pictures. So, it was just a handshake. He was there with some of his friends watching the girls play field hockey. Pretty lame, if you ask me. Whatever. To each their own, I'm not here to judge. And he was really presented formally to the family. He came down to Louisville for a weekend. I forget what the event was, but we were all there together. I was in Louisville, and something came up where my mom had to go shopping for clothing with my sister. And so it was decided that Brandon would come to Home Depot with my father and I. And so, there the three of us are in Home Depot. Brandon is a little bit timid before you get to know him, and my dad isn't much of a talker either. So it was kind of up to me to keep the conversation going and try and instill sort of some sense of levity to the situation. And I remember when we were searching for bird food for the birds out back. I don't know why I did this. Anybody who knows me knows I do these things. Nobody knows why I do them. I guess I thought it'd be funny, and I grabbed a 40-pound bag of birdseed off the rack, and I just whipped around 180 degrees, underhand tossed it at Brandon, and said, "Think fast, Brandon." And it knocked him back 2 or 3 feet, but he caught it. He held on to that thing. And, so, this was really just kind of a passing thing for me, but it really came to define our relationship for some time thereafter. But the fact is, I've gotten to know Brandon a lot better since then. We spent a lot of time together at family events, and, as soon as my little sister moved to New York, I was there visiting her all the time, and pretty soon it was Brandon's apartment I was visiting. Which, added a whole new dimension to it. Over time, as it happens, ironically enough, we ended up in the same industry, and he's come to be a guy that, I can count on for opinions and counsel, and, he's always there to spot me a buck when I run out of money in New York. He's grown up a lot. It's remarkable. I guess to conclude here, people always ask me, what do I think of the groom? It's the first thing they ask me when I see my little sisters getting married. And, the fact of the matter is, he's a straight shooter. And he's completely devoted to my sister. That's sure. And he's a guy, he's respectful, he's sincere, loyal, dependable, he's honest and responsible, just not the kind of guy I would roll with, you know what I mean? Not at all. But he is the kind of guy, he is the kind of guy, and he's exactly the guy, in fact, that anyone would want their little sister to be marrying. So I'm really pleased to give you my best friend, and I brought you something to be a token of your relationship with Katharine, and the one that we're all three of us going to form together. So just come up. Got a little something for you up here.
Mom, do something.